Hello, and welcome to Sentiments. This is Donna Jackson of Donna Jackson LLC and DonnaJackson.biz. Today, you will meet me in the kitchen. I invite you to come join me as I prepare one of my very favorite meals. So let's get started. Before we begin, let's briefly talk about aging and diet. Now, there's so many different diets that are out there, and there are so many different recommended diets to stay healthy. So, as we get older, we realize that diet can contribute to disease and can help prevent or eliminate some diseases. So, the question is always when it comes to dinner, what can we eat? And how exactly does diet and lead to disease prevention? Well, I'm not an expert on nutrition science, nor do I have any kind of a medical background, but I'm just happy to report that I'm relatively healthy for my age, and I'm going to prepare for you one of my very favorite meals that I feel like give me enough calories and enough macronutrients and micronutrients to sustain me. So that's what I would like to share with you today. Hello, I am Donna Jackson and welcome to Sentiments. Today I am going to be preparing a well-balanced meal. Why? Why would I do that? Well, because as we age, of course, we have to be mindful of our health. Currently, I have no health conditions and I want to keep it that way. So today I'm going to prepare one of my favorite meals. 4 ingredients. They are mushrooms, black beans, Brussels sprouts, and tomatoes. Why? Because I was just reading that women have to get 46 grams of protein every day, and that's going to come from my black beans. We also have to make sure we get enough fiber in our diet. That's going to come from my Brussels sprouts. We also have to make sure we get all of the micronutrients, all the vitamins and minerals. That's going to come from all of my vegetables and also my tomatoes, which are actually fruits. And what I do with this, I'm going to show you, but I put a lot of nice seasonings in it. It is very hearty, very filling, and it is low cal. So please join me today as I prepare one of my favorite balanced meals, low cal, on Sentiments. All right, we're going to get our Brussels sprouts in place. We're going to start them out the cut side down, and then we're going to season them. Now it looks like the oil it disappeared, but actually it's been absorbed within all the folds of the Brussels sprouts. Just want to cover the pan. Medium-high heat. Cut side down just to get them started, and just simmer them. Medium-high heat. We want to get them a little bit brown on this side. Then we're going to add our seasoning. Over the pan. Alright, we got salt, garlic powder. Yeah, get it down warm. Onion powder. Hold it down, get it warm. We've got turmeric,
We've got parsley. All right, we've got cracked black pepper. I'll reduce the heat. We've got thyme. We've got smoked paprika. We've got oregano. And I believe parsley. All right. I'll reduce the heat. Let's turn it over. Good. There we go. We got that char, which gives it some flavor. Might add a little more oil because it looks like it's alright. This is exactly what you want to see. Nice golden color on that side, on that charred side down. That cut side is down. So as you flip it over, you see where it has charred, and that char is going to bring out a nice flavor. So I'm going to put the heat back on medium. I'm going to add my mushrooms and then my tomatoes, and last my black beans. Now I'm adding my mushrooms. Just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. They will shrink and they cook. Medium high heat to get everything going. And then of course we add our tomatoes. Now the tomatoes are great here because the juice from the tomatoes will actually form the liquid that will cook the Brussels sprouts and make everything come together really nicely. So I'm just going to squeeze these babies in wherever they get in, where you fit in, and make this thing happen, okay? At the very end, I'm going to add my black beans because my black beans are canned, and of course canned foods are already cooked, right? So I don't really need to do anything with that. That looks really good right there. We got enough color, enough volume of food to fill you up, so you won't be hungry. And that's usually the problem when we try to cut calories. We're like, am I going to be hungry? So no, you won't be hungry because you'll be full. You have a nice volume of food. Medium heat, we got our steam going, we got our Brussels sprouts, our mushrooms, and our tomatoes in place. Everything is seasoned. And I'm going to turn this down to low, and I'm going to cover it for about 15 minutes. Alright, so I want to increase my heat just a little bit, and also to ensure that everything is cooking evenly, I want to turn these Brussels sprouts over to make sure that they're getting heat on both sides. Submerge your mushrooms if they're too close to the top to make sure that they're getting contact with the heat. Also, you'll see that the tomatoes are breaking down. They're losing a lot of their moisture. It's starting to dissipate into the pan. So that means that the seasoning that the Brussels sprouts were seasoned with is starting to intermingle with the water that is coming out of the tomatoes. And so everything is going to marry together, as everybody says. And then all the flavors are going to come out of all of these wonderful vegetables. The way to test to see if it's done is that you take your utensil and you split the Brussels sprouts to see if they are tender. If not, then you allow it to simmer a little bit longer. Alright, so at this point, everything is looking good. We'll add our black beans. This is a half a cup of black beans. And I believe, let me see, on this can it says you're going to get 8 grams of protein in that. So then the other things that you eat during the day, if you don't eat meat, you'll be, if you, like me, I eat dairy, so I eat quite a bit of non-fat Greek yogurt, and also I eat, I drink milk, skim, and I also eat unsalted peanuts. So it's the beans, the dairy, and the peanuts for me. This is looking delicious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plate this and I'm going to have this for dinner.